We are doing today a little art stream like we have done before, and actually we're gonna pick up where we left off last time. Which is we're gonna color this person, and we're gonna do that in a second. Just gonna real quick go here to say new post and go here to say copy link live now. Art streaming. Post it here. Post it in Discord as well, real quick. Stream announcements. Live now. And post the link, there we go. And voila. Let's do stuff. So I'm personally thinking I rarely work with the color green for some reason, and I think we want to change that today. I think we want to work with a color palette here that goes somewhere between blue and yellow, and green is right in the middle there. So we'll see how that goes. Let's pick some colors first of all. So let me also quickly just get rid of the notes here. We don't need those anymore. Let's instead think about colors. So I'm thinking I want the fire here to be somewhat bluish, so something like the fire on the tattoo. I want it to be kind of a blue fire. So what if we do something like this for the dark parts, and something more greenish for the lighter parts. And then we have some spots I think where we're gonna make it just straight up like mint colored, something like this for the lightest parts of the fire. I'm thinking we will probably do the same with the hair as well, so let me just draw a silly little arrow here. Except we want then some good slightly orange yellow here for some of the details as well, but not for the fire. The fire is gonna be blue-green. Let's say we got yellow pants here, and this undershirt, bra, whatever that is exactly, is also gonna be in yellow, I think. And I think these pearly hair tie things over there as well. So this is gonna look a little bit like a confusing serial killer notes sketch with a bunch of arrows in between. We're gonna have to deal with that, unfortunately, because that's how I am thinking right now. I'm thinking also we are gonna choose kind of a darkish green for the sleeveless coat over here. Something like this. And for the shoes as well. I like to limit myself to few colors. I don't like to use thousands of different colors in a single character. Then all that's left, I think, is to decide on a skin color, and I think that's gonna be maybe something, because we have a lot of saturation here already in the clothes and the tattoo and everything. Maybe we do just a very gray skin color, I'm thinking. Maybe we do something like this. Alright. I'm thinking that's our base, our plan. Let me quickly rename some layers. So we got the outlines right here, done. And we got color palette right here. And from there we are moving on. So probably the most exciting parts will be the hairdo and the tattoo. But we'll see. The rest will be fine as well. Okay. Let's start with the skin, I think, this time. So we're gonna start by coloring this flatly, mostly. And then we're gonna, later, once we have done the flat colors, we're gonna add in a little bit of shading afterwards. But for now, let's get started with some flat shading of the skin right here. We're gonna use a big brush for that purpose. I mean, to be fair, since I'm using a very pixelated brush for the outlines, I could probably just bucket fill these things just by making sure that every line is connected beforehand. But I don't mind coloring it in with a brush. I guess that's just some kind of therapeutic element of painting that you get this way. Alright. And depending on how this goes, we might even go and remove the outline layer afterwards completely. It depends. Sometimes that works very well and you just have a very nice lineless art that way. Yeah, it's just something that we'll have to see how it goes. Because to be honest, I never really have much of a problem with lineless art. It's something that comes quite natural to me, because for some reason whenever I paint in the colors of a drawing and remove the outline, it pretty much works usually right away without any problem. so I usually don't have to give it much of an additional thought. It usually just works straight up right away, which is nice. That's what you kind of want in art, to have shortcuts and make everything as easy as possible on yourself. There is merit to quickness in art, because at least for me, the biggest advantage probably is the fact that I only have so much of an attention span and patience, so I want to be done with it quickly so that it gets done at all, because I have learned that from about myself, that if I take too long on something, I will just stop doing it and it will be an unfinished project, which is why usually years ago, when I've didn't have quite the same Minecraft building skill, for example, I would often have very unfinished projects and never finish any of them, because they would just take too long and I would get bored and yada yada. So that is something that's true for all kinds of art. You need to get done with it before you get bored of it, else you will just never finish it. And that's really the trick to finishing your projects, really. At least for me it is, because that was a huge problem back in the day, where I never would finish any project that I started. The same goes for video game coding projects that I started with my friends or something like that. I would just never see it done. So same problem with also drawing and stuff. So there is merit to quickness, because you get more stuff done within a certain time if you get faster. Which is why I disagree with that you should take as long as you want with art. It really depends on the person. Some people will say, no, take yourself a lot of time for this, and it doesn't matter if you want to go into all of the details and stuff. That is certainly probably true for specific people, but not for me. I need to be fast, or else it will just not get done. Hi, hello. How is it going? I am mostly talking about philosophy of art or something like that. Mostly concerning how fast you need to be to draw, because, you know, being fast is an advantage, I think, in art, because it allows you to finish your projects. If you are, for example, not very patient, just like myself. How is it going? I hope you are having a wonderful Friday. For me, this is the last stream before my small vacation. I will not be streaming next week in particular, because I will be on my skiing vacation with my family. And we go skiing because we are very Austrian and that's a thing that we do. You know how it is. Okay, someone didn't close the line. Where is the line still open? Oh, yeah. Most certainly here. Is it closed now? Oh, hold on, let me think for a second. No, I think now it's closed. Voila, there we go. Oh no! Not a sprained ankle. Gosh darn it, what are you doing to yourself? Don't hurt my friends, even if you are yourself the friend. Well, hope it gets well very soon. I know how it is to run around with a broken bone. I haven't had my legs really injured much so far. I did have my arms broken as a child when I went ice skating. Which is also the reason why I don't go ice skating anymore, because first of all, I have terrible balance. I will just keep falling over and over and I will not have any fun. Firstly. Secondly, yeah, I broke my arm doing it. And also, yeah, I don't like ice skating that much. Maybe I am just biased from having my arm broken. That's very possible. But I am very much a skiing kind of person. Probably just fell on it. It is quite some years ago now. So sorry, I cannot be very specific. It was back in the school days. Basically, I went ice skating in particular to practice it before we would go with the school, because we had a terrible teacher who would verbally abuse their students and I didn't want to embarrass myself in front of them. So I was like, hey mom, let's go ice skating as a practice before that, and that's when I broke my arm. And the advantage is I didn't have to go ice skating with my school a single time because my arm was broken. So who's the smart kid now? Don't wanna go to sports? Just break your arm. I don't actually condone that. That is a terrible strategy. Yeah, to be fair, I would have liked to get out of the situation without getting my bones broken, but in the end I probably still prefer that outcome over actually going ice skating with my terrible teacher. Especially now after it's done healing and stuff. Probably if you asked me why my arm was broken, I would probably have said, no, I don't prefer this. But now that I'm able to look back at it, I can say I don't regret my, in quotation marks, decision. Have you ever broken a bone or had an injury like that? Oh man, yeah, you're true. You just said you have a sprained ankle right now. Fair. Alright, that should be a closed loop. Oh no. I mean, I hope it healed up alright. I know that sometimes these things can heal up wrongly and then be a pain in well, I was gonna say DS, but I guess in your case a pain in the leg for quite some time. Yeah, I think the skin color goes very well with the overall color scheme because this is very desaturated, and it's gonna read well against the other colors, I think. I think this was a good decision of a skin tone. Thank you. I just knew that I wanted something grayish to go well with the very saturated blues and greens and yellows. What is a little bit wild is that it looks very different on the stream than it does on the tablet in front of me. So this is, I'm gonna say, it's probably the tablet's HDMI input's fault for not having the exact right color output. But on my screen the colors are a lot darker, most of them, except the green. The green is about the same, but the yellow is a lot darker and the blue is less saturated than this very clear, violent, eye-offending blue. Let me check, maybe hold on for a second. Can I go into the settings here for a second? Let's see. We want display. Can I change anything here? Doesn't really change anything on the HDMI output. I think this just changes the setting of the tablet screen. So we're gonna leave it on vivid, I guess. Alright. I guess then there's nothing really we can do. Then I will just be sure to show you the results afterwards, as you know, the final PNG and stuff. I will post it on social media and stuff so that you can see. Cause again, the colors on my tablet instead of on the stream are a lot nicer, I will say. But we're gonna make do with what we have. Anyway, I think we're gonna do the yellow next. Oh, and I did a little bit of a mistake, I suppose. Well, I guess I can fix this later. But I wanted to draw on a different layer because I'm now drawing on the same layer as the color palette is. You know what, let's fix that real quick. Do this. No. The entire, everything of the color. Let's say we grow the selection by a few pixels. Yeah, like that. Then let's edit, cut, do a new layer, edit, paste. There we almost go. I forgot about one thing. That this thing here should go cut and paste over here. Alright, and this one we merge down because I accidentally pasted it into a new layer. So merge with layer below. There we go. Alright, that's the layer that we paint on now. Right, now let's do the yellow. Generally, I will say that is probably just the fault of my HDMI USB-C thing that I have here. The quality of the capture of my tablet is not quite perfect. So I guess that's something that I can still improve the stream for later streams on. Oh, I'm on the wrong tool. Sorry, did I ruin anything? No, looks good. Okay. So now we're gonna color this yellow bra shirt, whatever it is, thing. Oops, that is too much. We're gonna do the most fun parts, I think, last, which is gonna be the tattoo and the hair. Saving the best for last. Yeah, oh my god, it's so much brighter on the stream. At least on OBS. Let me quickly check how it looks on Twitch. Yeah, that is so bright. The yellow is so bright. But whatever, we deal with it. I want you to know that this is a very mellow yellow. A nice, pleasing on the eyes, darkish, a little bit slightly orange tinted yellow. Just ever so slightly. Not as neon and blinding as the one that you were seeing on stream. I did slightly too much. Also, yeah, I know, usually people use different layers for the different areas. I don't right now. Right now I'm just painting it all on a single layer. It's fine, it's gonna be fine. Surely this won't be a problem later. I wonder if maybe instead of HDMI capturing my tablet onto my computer, maybe I should do these art streams directly from the tablet. I don't know how that will affect performance and stuff like that. Can I also say I just really like how well it worked out with the cartoonish style for the face. That looks really good, I think. Alright. Next are the pants, which are also gonna be yellow. I would say as an area, the yellow on the stream doesn't look too bad either. But I wonder how this will work with shading. Cause something I did notice is that these particular three colors here, I think they harmonize also on my screen a little better than on stream. But whatever. We have what we have. Whoopsie. Don't color beyond the lines. Alrighty, alrighty. But yeah, Arch streams for me are always very chatty, let's talk about everything kind of stream. So if you have something you want to talk about in chat, do let me know. And if not, don't worry, it's all good. I gotta say, the yellow here on my tablet is just so much nicer to look at. I mean, it really could be either of two things. That is too much yellow. It could be either of two things. Either it could be the HDMI capture stick. Hold on. Wait. Maybe I can do something about this. Maybe I can go to properties, device, USB 3 video is correct. Color space. Hold on, let's see if I can fix this. Okay, that one is definitely wrong. Oh, yeah, that is better. Okay, the internet is for some reason tuning out. Why do we have internet problems now? That is so unfair. Are we back? We are not back yet. Yeah, why is this happening right now? That is so unfair. Okay, I hope we are back now. I think we are back now. For some reason my internet had terrible problems. So I did a little bit of work to fix the color issue. I think it's a lot better already, but I think we can still do a little bit better. Okay, that's not quite it. That's too bright for sure. That's also not quite it. I think this is as good as it gets. Okay. So the resolution I think is correct. Okay, let's see the whole palette real quick. That is better already. I think we gotta turn down the contrast a little bit and up the brightness a little bit. I think now it looks a lot more like it does on the tablet as well. Yeah, now it looks pretty much exactly the same. Okay, I fixed it. We got more accurate to the tablet colors now. Okay, there we go. We continue to draw. So now you see what my yellow looks like. It didn't look as terrible as what you saw before. I swear I make good color choices. Okay, that's a fill bucket. I want a brush. Like, you gotta agree that yellow here is way nicer now. Let's do a cut here and fill in the left side of the leg already. So we can get an idea of what it looks like. Yeah, it looks nice. Right. Alright, that's the second leg. And it's yellow. Like Coldplay always says. And it was all yellow. Yes, I did want this hair tie to also be yellow. So we're gonna do that. Alright. That's more yellow. Okay. I think now the last things we do before getting to the fun part, which is the hair and the tattoo, is the shoes and the jacket and the belt. Which we are just gonna basically flood fill with a whole bunch of green. Let's make the green and let's see what happens. No, that's too much. I do tell you though, every now and then it is really fun to just make an art stream like that. It's just so nice for the soul to relax and just draw. Yep. A little bit of green. Like I said before, I usually don't do much green. Not because I really have anything against this color. It's just that I happen to have my favorites that I usually go to. And I do anything I can with my favorites. Which is usually a very specific shade of red. And then a lot of black and white. Then if I do electronic techy parts, then I go for a blue. But green just doesn't happen that much in my character design usually. Obviously, if I were to do backgrounds and stuff, I would need to do a lot of green for grass and plants and everything like that. But as it stands, I do mostly drawings just of characters. So there's usually not much of a need in particular for grass and backgrounds and stuff. So that's why you don't see it a lot usually. So it is the case that I'm leaving my comfort zone a little bit, which is always a good thing to do, because that's how you learn new stuff. Alright, let me try if this is enough to be flat filled. No, not quite. We do still have open lines apparently. Let's see where. Okay, I see. So we need a little bit more over here and here, and then I guess that's it. Yep. Give me back the outlines. There you go. I do, hold on, want to fix this little bit here, because this is gotta be like that, right? I am very relieved now that you see the accurate colors on stream now. Okay, that's a little bit too much. Alright, then the last, I want to say the last boring bit before we get to the cool stuff, the shoes. which are some very lumpy shapes. Very lumpy indeed. No, that was outside the lines. Bad. We don't like outside the lines. Alright. Let's fill this shape. There we go. One green shoe, then the other. Shading these is also gonna be interesting. I personally shade very intentionally, so to speak, by directly choosing the color of the shade. I know that there are people out there who can do shading just with basically a multiply layer, or you know, lighting with an additive layer or something like that. That's just not my workflow though. I just usually draw the colors in directly. But that's the beauty and the nice thing about art, is that everyone has their own tricks and workflows and stuff. I suppose it would make sense for me to also work out how to deal with multiply and add layers, because I think in general it would be faster, and like I said before, there is merit to speed in drawing, because the faster you get done, the more interested you remain in your artwork. This here we should probably fill up more, yep, like so. And now we got a pretty neat little outfit. I might play around with it more, but let's for now keep moving ahead and do the tattoo next. So we got this arm here, and we got 3 colors that we want to use. We start with the darkest one. That is not it. The darkest one, please. Yes, thank you. That's the one. That's a good looking blue. By the way, I have now, and I've talked about this the last stream, but let me remind you, I have now got a Discord server for the streams here, which enables you to vote on upcoming streams. So basically I give you a few choices. How about this game? How about this activity? And so on and so forth. And you have therefore the democratic power to be involved in being chosen what is being played next. So if you want to see me do more art streams instead of playing games, or if you say, oh, this art kind of sucks, I want to see more games, you have that power now. You can now join the server and vote on the next polls. I hope you also don't mind the silence. I like to talk about anything, to be honest, but I guess there's no naturally occurring topic right now, so I would just artificially keep the conversation going. And that's no fun. So, but if you want to say something in chat, do it. I will be sure to reply. That was not so smart. We don't want to remove these pixels, we want to just color them differently. Yeah, there we go. And it's fixed. Good. Alright, then we go do the secondary and tertiary colors, so that's this one for the middle color. Hold on, let me blow my nose real quick. Okay, let's move on. So I want to color this one, for example, in this teal color. Gotta be very precise here. I think we're gonna twist and turn your expectations right here. We're gonna make this one be teal. And this, whoop, not that much. Just a smidge. Right, like so. Perfect. Like so, and then the rest gets hold on, this one also gets this teal. Then we get the third color, which is a mint, almost green color. Well, actually, hold on, let me just get a line going here, and then I should be able to flood fill this one. Not quite. Something went wrong here. Outlines. Oh, yeah, obviously. Okay, hold on. Not quite as much, but a lot more. So like this. Is this too much already? Yes, it is. Right, now we got it. There you are. And now let's do these last few swirls. Wow, also in the mint. I want just a tiny bit, come on. Yeah, like so. No, tiny. It's very pressure sensitive. I could just go for a smaller brush, but I don't wanna. I am now. Yes, satisfied, thank you. Okay, there we go. That's the flat colors of the tattoo done. Now we want to do basically the same on the hair. Alright, let's do the hair. Hold on. Let's do the darkest one first. So that's this one. Right. This is gonna change a lot in the shading afterwards. Then we want to make the eyebrows as dark as we can with the hair. So we're gonna give it a blue as well. I think, to be honest, we should just make the eyebrows solid and make them peek through the hair. Nah, the hair will go over it, I guess. Then we take the middle one, the middle blue. Okay, there are a few spots missing right here, so we'll fix those. This one there, and then the dark blue one down here. Back to the middle blue. Alright, this should work with a flat fill. So let's see. There we go. Beautiful. And we're gonna do this one as well. trying to fix this one particular pixel there. And it's just not happening no matter what I do. It's either going way too much or not enough. God damn it. Okay, hold on. Let me go ultra deep zoom on this. This pixel is impossible to hit. Okay, that's gotta be no. Okay. Hell yeah, thank you very much. I did fix the colors on the stream. So you know how before all of the colors were way too bright and stuff, and now they look pretty much exactly like they do on my tablet. So we're gonna do one last bit of flat shading on the hair. And then we're gonna do, I mean not flat shading, more like flat coloring. And then we're that is the wrong color. Where's the undo? There's the undo. Undo. There we go. That's the color that we want. So we've been streaming for slightly over an hour, and now soon is where we're gonna get into the exciting part, the shading, making this whole thing look a little bit more three-dimensional and popping out. Zoom. I should also just save every once in a while, I guess. Alright, that's the flat colors. Unless you want to do maybe a little bit of detailing for the belt and stuff like that. But I want to actually spend as little color on detail as we can. Well, let's see how it goes with shading now. Okay, so just to be sure, we're gonna duplicate this layer and keep a copy of it. Then I'm gonna also enable transparency lock, cause now it doesn't make sense anymore to paint outside of the lines. We can also disable the color palette, cause now we got all the base colors that we want. Alright. I like to usually go a little bit crazy with colors. Let's start with shading the yellow. And a trick that we're gonna do to make shading for the yellow is we're just gonna turn the hue dial more into the orange. And we're gonna desaturate a little bit and make it a little bit darker. So I think that's gonna be our shade, maybe a little bit more towards the yellow again. Something like this. So this is gonna be our shading color. So now we just go for it. Alright. Oh, whoops, I accidentally colored into the shoe. That's not good. We don't want to shade the shoe just yet. At least not with yellow. Alright. Then we're gonna do this here as well. And then fill this part. Perfect. Let's unlock the transparency just for a second here, because there is a hole in there. Now back on you go. Okay. And we're also gonna, hold on, we're gonna make this a little bit more. No, that's too wonky of a shape. No. We're gonna give this a little bit of depth. And we're also gonna fix the color here real quick, because apparently we went through it with the yellow. Go fix this as well. All of this is gonna be shaded. Actually, let's just fill brush this. Nice. Then we're gonna go like so. A little bit creasing inwards like so. Then we're gonna flat fill this. There we go. And we're gonna add a little bit of shade under the coat here. There is a hole right here. Also, I don't like this curve. Let's do it slightly more like this. We want it a little bit less aggressive, the shape. And also there is something missing here. Perfect. Now give me back my transparency lock. There we go. There's also a missing pixel over here. My. Alright, let's also do a little bit of this here. I said yellow. Come on. All right. Let's do one more shade of yellow. A little bit, still pushing it a little bit darker, more gray. So somewhere like here. And give it a third layer of shade. Right, let's fill this like so. Layers invisible, what do you mean? Oh, I accidentally touched this, I guess. That is not what I want. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. We just fill it like this then. There's a missing pixel right here. Or actually a few, I guess. Go, making it all just a little bit darker. Yeah. So we did the yellow for now. Okay, no, we need a little bit more of a darker shading up here. This now. Maybe a little bit over here, and then a little. Whoop! Don't just jump scare me like that. And a little bit like so. No, no, no! That is too big. Too big. I think that's a good amount of shading on the yellow. Then we're gonna do the greens next, and then is gonna come the most exciting part. Oh no, we need to shade the skin as well. Hold on, that's also still something that we still need to do. But let's do the green first. Let's do the green. So that's this green here, and I think the way we want to go about this is make a darker and a brighter version both. So let's make it darker by pushing it more towards the blue and bringing it up more here, but also more blue. Blue is a good darker of a green. Right, that is Maybe I'm gonna make the brush size a little bit smaller. Yeah, like so. So that it is a little bit easier to stay within the lines. Right. And then here we shade this part darkly right here. All right. Then we shade these parts here. Obviously the shadow from the color here. Then the bottom of the chest is gonna be darker. So we're gonna do a little bit of a soft bright spot over here, but everything below the collar here and under the chest here is gonna be shaded darkly. So we're just gonna do, whoops, I don't want a keyboard. Yes, I want to save it. Why? For what you're closing, huh? I didn't mean to close you. Well, hope it saved properly. There we go. Yeah, yep, there we are. So, but I gotta adjust my pen brush size again, like so. We are still on the correct layer, yes. Alright then. Don't just close my application like that, what was that for? Alright, can I just fill this now? Not quite. Okay, there's still something open right here. There we go now. Okay. We're actually gonna make this carve out like so. Curve out. Sorry, not carve out. We've got a pocket here, we're gonna shade that a little bit like so. and then you like so. Alright, yeah, that looks good. I now want to add a little bit of, whoa, there's a splotch of dark green that I don't like. How did you get in there? That must have been a mistake. So pick that color again. Go like so. Then pick the dark yellow. Alright. And here we are. Let's save this for now. Alright, now next we shade the skin, and this is gonna be a little bit difficult with the tattoo. Let's just start at the head. Head is relatively easy. To make it darker, let's go further towards the red and further here. Now we brush. Right, let's do the shadow of the hair. Okay, this is still a little bit too big of a brush. I think that is good shading on the face for now. Let's do some for the neck right here. Fill this. Alright, we're moving on towards the arm. Things are getting complicated now. Okay, I'm gonna do a trick. I'm gonna select only the skin color. Right. Now we're gonna just draw on the skin. So we're gonna do this here. I should have done that from the start, but oh well. It looks a little bit ugly right now with all of the selection layer thing, but it's going to be fixed in a bit when we're done with this. Still staying on the same layer, please. Alright, let's deselect everything and see how it looks. So far so good. So far I like it. Oh yeah, we still gotta shade the shoes. Easy enough, not a problem. But first let me go slightly towards the yellow here. Go here. Like so. And give you a little bit of shiny spots like so. Now she's got a little bit shiny spots on her skin. That's, I think, good. Let's see how it looks without outlines so far. Actually, kind of epic. Not gonna lie, we might make a lineless version of this as well. Ooh. This one is taking quite some time though to do. So I think we're gonna stop the stream after we're done with this. Which is still gonna take a while, because the hair and the tattoo are gonna take the longest. Or actually, I might decide to just leave the tattoo be as it is right here and not shade it. Then it will pop more, I think. But the hair is gonna be shaded for sure, because that's important. Alright, let's do the shoes next. The boring things first. Right, then this should just be a simple matter of bucket filling. Yeah, there we go. What do you mean layer is invisible? No one went to a different layer. Alright, those are shoes for sure. Let's do some highlights on the jacket and the shoes as well. So this time we're gonna go for the original green color, push it more towards the lime. Let's go for a color like this. This quite right here. Yeah, something like that. Well, now the only thing that we still have left to shade is the hair. And then we're gonna also do a lineless version real quick. Alright, so one thing about the hair is that's different than everything else is that we already have some colors available. So we're now gonna select all of this and work on this layer, on this selection I mean. Because again, it's just all the same layer actually. Alright, brush again. Alright, that's a little bit too harsh. Let's zoom in a little bit more. So one thing about me is that shading hair in particular is one of my favorite things about art. Cause it's just very good, very fun. Alright, let's then do the lighter color, this one, for the highlights. So hair is basically where you want to use your pressure sensitivity the most to make those very growing and shrinking lines. This line here I want more bright on the left side and the top, like so, and then maybe just a little dot like here. Yeah, that's fine. Next we're gonna do the dark parts here. Oh whoops, where's the color select? There it is. So now we're gonna go slightly more towards the purple. That already makes it darker. And move it a little bit up. For the darkness, you see. Something like this, something also right here. And then as the bright color in the dark parts, we're gonna use the middle color. So that's this one. then we only still need to do hold on, we're also gonna do in a dark color the eyebrows. I think that's the best choice, I think. Right, then or let's do them dark on the bottom and bright on the top. Like so. Alright, then the last bit, we're gonna color select the minty parts. Oh no, there's something missing here. Here still. Because we gotta get this done as well. Now we go to the minty parts. Hold on. Color select this. There we go. Let's do the dark first. This one, please. So then here, here, and here, then here, here, and here. Hold on, let's do this a little bit better. We can do better. Let's deselect for a second and fix these little dots over here. I don't even think we need to add a highlight to the light blue ones. I think this looks good enough as it is. What do we think? I think we think good. I think we think good. And I want to do one last thing, which is just add the face to a different layer. Okay, we gotta do the selection again because I messed up at the top there. Okay, again, so like this, 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 like so. Then we go here, then we say cut, edit, paste, because that way we should now be able to, hold on, This belongs to the other layer, I guess. Edit, cut, go here, paste into active layer. Then we say everything good. Then we can now look at her, hold on, with the outlines, without the outlines. Both very good, I think. We're gonna do both. We're gonna save both. So first of all, no, cancel. It's the wrong button. This button to save the document. Then let's export a PNG image. Okay. Outlines PNG. Save it like that, and then we're gonna disable the outlines. Well, okay, there's some stuff that we still want to fix in this version, like especially in the face here. Where we want to fill in a few. Layers like so, a few holes. I mean, we're not gonna fill any layers. Wow, too much. Alright, let's take the dark skin layer again, the color, not layer. Fill in some of the mistakes here. There. Then you know what, we can even do this here. Let's fix some holes over here as well with the yellow. Yeah, and everything else looks... Oh, hold on. There's a big problem here. And actually, let's use the darker one, because otherwise it just looks terrible actually. Alright, yeah, the details on the right shoe look good. That's good enough for me, I think. I might still just go like so here. and use a different background color. Big size, please, for a second. We're gonna do something a little bit silly. We're gonna go here and we're gonna remove the eyes again in a second. Da machen wir, and then we do, sorry, I accidentally switched to German. Like a floor layer right here that she's standing on. I keep going more up than I want to. Yeah, like so, that's good. Then let's trim to image size. Hold on, no. Yeah, trim to current layer, that's good. Then, hold on, let's save this. Hold on, I accidentally pressed it twice. Okay, let's export this as a PNG again. PNG image. This time, no out. Oh, and I forgot her eyes. Hold on. The eyes. Right, like so. Export that again as a PNG, please. As this one, per favore. Yes. Do it. Then we switch the outlines on again. Export also as a PNG. And save it over this one. Yes, please. And that, I guess, concludes today. We're done here. We're done here and that's good. I'm gonna post these online in a bit. But let's end the stream first. Let me check if we can raid someone. Maybe someone is online already. I don't know. We will see. Twitch. Red. Okay, I'm sending you to a Minecrafty place. Goodbye.